lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children, we are.
douglAR Politics tonight, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m. So Rowley say, I'm sorry, I appointed an idiot as Minister of Health. I'm sorry, I lied to the population. I'm sorry, I called an election in the midst of a pandemic. Yes, I called it early, but I'm sorry. I had to stay in to dip in the cheshi without procurement. I'm sorry that I told you all and convinced you all and had help that we were number one in the world. And now, you, my children, after Father's Day, you are suffering. I am sorry that I'm incompetent. I am sorry, says Rowley, that I am not bright. I'm sorry that I'm not a good man. I'm sorry that while I eat lobster, shrimps, and drink scotch, you have to suck water from a dry WhatsApp pipe. I'm sorry, says Rowley, and the media genuflects. I'm sorry, says Rowley, and the story just disappears. Just like the 740 citizens who have lost their lives to COVID-19 because of Rowley's sorry decision-making, Rowley's sorry cabinet, and Rowley's sorry government. douglAR Politics tonight, 7:30 p.m. sharp. 7:30 p.m. tonight, Tuesday night, 7:30 p.m.
This is douglAR Politics, yo. douglAR Politics. Listen, douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics, yeah. douglAR Politics. This is douglAR Politics.
Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. We're starting it one time. Angus Eve, you start off already. As a coach, as a brother, I understand what you're doing already. You see, for about 11 months, I couldn't understand what Fennec was doing, what he's saying, what he's coaching, because dunce, it's very hard to understand dunce when you're kind of bright. So you can't understand dunce, but Angus Eve, you start one time, because they say Eve kicks off a higher tempo training session. I understand that one time. I could see where you want to do. I could see where you want to go. I could see you want to put me Trinidad and Tobago back where it should be. So well done, Angus Eve. I'm watching you carefully. Juve Rum, Angus Trinis. I see that this big actor, Black Panther, we dress up and we went and we support. Now, the man, Jordan, I like him in the Rocky movies, the Creed. Yeah, boy, I'm a boy. But the Black Panther star is being accused of cultural appropriation, which according to the Cambridge Dictionary is the act of taking or using things from a culture that is not your own, especially without showing that you understand or respect this culture. Well, are you so sure about all that, you know? Let me tell you something. If we have something that we own 60 years and we ain't know to trademark it, to register it, and our next fellow who love it, find it, live it, respect it, and see opportunity, that's the way of the world. I don't know what we coming down on he for. Maybe we should call he in, take some of he ideas, and move with he. Look at my boy Joseph Rich Paul. I like this one. Because it's really true. All you trini with my heart. If we not bright enough to utilize what we have and who we are and what we are about and monetize it, it's a man making money with pan outside, man selling little pan in the States for 5,000 US. We is the pan, Lavante is the land of the pan, the creator of the pan, Winston Priest, Simon the hammer, and we just studying PNM, and never do nothing with the pan. So now a man see we Juve, love we Juve, realize it had rum Juve, it had vibes, it had things, it had money, he see it, want to market it, we vexed him for being bright, we should be vexed with himself. But I like this what Joseph Rich Paul here say, you're vexed with Michael B. Jordan, selling Juve rum, but not with PNM for selling out all their entire country to China. Very true. But all they getting vexed, I'm not so sure. I find all they should call him and say, brother, we like your idea. Can we join you? Because, you know, we know about the Juve, but the horse done bolt out the stadium. Everybody had Juve. Yes, it originates here. We is the original, but it just shows that we don't invest in what is ours. We just only know what good when somebody else take it. And outside they're selling roti for 10 US and 20 US. We can't even get a roti. All you go ahead now. Now, when I read this next article, I realized we really gone through. We as a country, we are truly lost. I could not even discuss this with my 6-year-old daughter because she would have literally cried. So I'll have to hold this story for a little while when she could really understand. Monday, June 21st, Guardian, page 23. Heritage site plundered. Endangered birds stolen from Pointe-à-Pierre Wildfowl Trust. In what has been described as a series of well-planned burglaries, the thieves broke into cages made off with mature blue and gold macaws, fulvous whistling ducklings, white-faced whistling ducks, wild Muscovy ducklings, and a white peahen. The door to the hatchery was smashed in, and a new incubator with 6 eggs, along with a carrying cage with wild Muscovy ducklings, was stolen. The stolen birds include endangered species which may be for sale on the illegal wildlife market. We just gone right through. Do you know all across the globe, in high schools, in primary schools, children are so in tune with the environment and the wildlife and the flora and the fauna that this could never happen. We so backward that this is going on in Trinidad and Tobago now. Our beauty, our birds, our heritage, what we should be planning to diversify post-COVID. We have people thieving it out, and we can't even keep it safe. Let me tell you, talking about something keeping safe, I'm watching a story that is developing here. And in Trinidad and Tobago, we have to be very careful. I am getting reports that WASA, under the PNM, have not paid their security companies, various security companies that are protecting our water supply, water facilities, pumping facilities, areas where water is purified and so on, that they have not paid the security companies in 15 months. For 15 months. I am hearing that we are now in jeopardy, that some of these companies cannot continue to provide this charity service as they have not been paid in 15 months. Other companies are taking WASA to court, and they are afraid of being blacklisted and so on, but they still need their money to pay their security. Human beings who are security officers are not being paid. Could you imagine if these companies dung tools? Our water supply will be in jeopardy. Our water supply would be at risk. Water is life. Water supply is a national security issue. PNM, pay the people. There was even a problem with the chemicals to purify our potable water. But you see, WASA had to spend so much extra money on chemicals because once they purify water and start to pump it through the old PNM infrastructure, 4 billion gallons of water is wasted per month with all the chemicals and so on. But the chemical companies put up a fight and they just got payment last month. So at least you get a little respite on that. So WASA, pay your security companies, please, PNM, man. You're studying to cut all our we. You're studying to cut we in a pandemic. You're studying to cut water from human beings in a pandemic. But you can't pay your bills. You can't go in cabinet and pay security companies who are protecting our water supply. PNM is just, all you're paying all your rental to Al-Rawi and them though. Al-Recusal and them getting their money though. But we water might be left unprotected. That's a very serious thing. You know, I told y'all, and I mentioned to y'all, that this thing that this PNM is doing with our education system, it was bad before, but during this pandemic, for 46,690 children to have never gone online, and then 2,000 who went online, who drop out and cannot be found now, that is a generation that the impact will be seen for years to come. I try to tell you all that. And we see on Monday, June 21st, regional news, page 15, Guardian, true impact. The Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves, says the true impact will be felt in 10 years of the lost school time due to COVID-19. Kingston, St. Vincent, Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves says the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the recent eruption of the La Soufrière volcano on the island's education system will only be felt in 10 years. According to Gonsalves, it is important that for students to return to the classroom as soon as possible, adding that if not, by the middle of this century, most of the nation's 40-year-olds would be significantly affected by what is taking place today. How come all of our prime ministers in the CARICOM brighter than what we have here? How come we so blind? Left foot, right foot. All you thought, listen, you all want to say UNC, PNM, same thing. Look what UNC was saying. I UNC. Look at our policy. All you feel, we talked this quite back a few weeks ago. Run a day. You are disturbed. We are disturbed not by things, but by the view which we take of them. Okay. I'm trying to read this brilliant phrase here. I'm going to apply it to myself. So, I am not really disturbed by the fact that for 16 months, my children of Trinidad and Tobago, 46,690 of them, plus 2,000 that dropped out who were online, 48,690 children have had no education whatsoever for 16 months. And that upsets me. So you are saying that it upsets me because of the view that I take of it, but it's okay with you. So what view do you take of that? What, that is not your child? That all your Balize children good? What is your view? Is my view warped that I find children missing out on critical 16 months of education will impact their lives for generation? Yes. So please, when you all stop, when you hear Tim Gopi sing, when you hear Kamla Prasad Bisesa, when you have Dave Tanku, David Lee, Anita Haynes, when you hear Jolene John, Jayanti Lakshmi Dayal, Senator Lida, Senator Wade Mark, Senator Naked, when you hear downstairs Saddam Hussein, when you hear Dr. Rishi Sipasad, when you hear Dr. Rai Ragbir, Dr. Lakram Bodo, what are you all talking about? You are seeing on one side intellectual capital and expertise in every area, and on the next side, left foot, right foot, nonsense, go by VAPs, set up people to go out and super spread, invite them to Easter, no education plan, no sport plan, no culture plan, no trade and industry, no competitive index, no roads, no help in flooding, nothing going on. Education, you have Tim Gopi Singh and Fazal Karim. You all cannot be serious and balling UNC PNM, same thing, everybody. What nonsense. As we talk about nonsense, Auditor General says the relief grant double dippers cost the state 8.1 million. And Coleman Butt is saying that this is terrible. We have to put something. Yes, you all need to put things in place about double dipping. But really and truly, when you look at the essence of what we're talking about, giving people $1,500 or a hamper for 3 months, and they're suffering and not working for 10, 11, 12 months, makes no sense. So you double dip and you get $3,000 to go where, to do what, to feed whom over a 10-month period. So you're talking about that double dipping? Or they didn't talk about the double dipping with Al-Rawi and his family having 5, 6, 7 buildings rented each month, getting 100 million a year. That's not double dipping. What is that? Double scooping? What is that? Suck out? All they didn't say, talk about double dipping when you had 92 recusals from the cabinet between 2 ministers and none of them are black. All they didn't say that was double dipping. What that was? Dancing, left foot, right foot to the tune, dance out the treasury with the money. That is what all they're talking about. Used car dealers, wrong time for liberalization of fuel industry. Not is the wrong time right through. Not only wrong time now, it was the wrong time, it is the wrong time, it is the wrong policy, it is heartless, and it is going to prevent people from being able to drive. So Babwa and his association says the liberalization as another form of taxation on the people. Exactly. Welcome to the real world. I've been trying to tell you all that. I've been trying to tell you that that gas subsidy is yours. It belongs to you. And it's not up to Coleman Butt and Rowley and Al-Rawi and Rohan and these clowns, Faris, a la recusal, a la tight pants, a la one shot, a la go, and line with 13 men in one room and dribble on them. It's not their money. The gas subsidy is for each and every one of you. So even though you vote left foot, put on a red jersey and whine your neck, and then they take your gas subsidy and you can't drive your car. Because them saying, in essence, that oil and gas is their own to do it as they want. To spend on discretionary spending that they can choose, that you vote for them and put them there, and they take from you to put over here to say, we decide how to spend this. So if I want to buy paintings, I'll go spend here. If I want to build a house for me, I'll go spend here. If I want to go and pay extra interest with a small financial company on the avenue where we just drink rum, I'll go here. If I want to rent my boys and them building, I will go here. And you get nothing. And you all think this thing is a football game. Red, we win, yes, yes. But when you sprain your neck, you can't even buy Bengay. I told you all, and I warned you all about this gas subsidy. Kamla Prasad Bisesa left it. Fisherman do him a regular gas. Them have to use super. Just now they come in to take super. They come in to liberalize. And you have not even gotten the markup yet. Listen to what they're saying. Government has not said, Mr. Babwa said, what the markup would be. So they could mark up as they see fit. If it goes through NP would have to make a profit for the operating costs and management. And then the fuel stations would put their markup as they have their right to. And who going and buy them fuel station? In the debate, when I catch Franklin Can, poor fella, when I catch him before, when he was saying no preferential treatment, no preferential treatment to concessionaires and so on, and right there on page 135 in his budget, preferential treatment will be given to bid for the concessionaires. Who are the concessionaires? KFC. Who do the KFC report on Bridgman? KFC. Who's the chairman of the roadmap committee? KFC. Who get interchange bill to drop you into a bucket of chicken? KFC. Who give the employee 2 pie and a Pepsi? KFC. Who take away the $150 stipend that workers at KFC were getting? KFC, man. Who buy out all the vaccine and them to bring in? KFC. Who making money and buying energy company? KFC. Who all up in Rowley K-Pax with a drumstick? KFC. Run the video, Archie. Show them what I told them long time ago, man. But said legislation coming to liberalize the fuel industry. Let me just tell all you, and this is no joke, in the last 3 days, and I've not been going anywhere really, very limited driving, okay? Because me ain't get no Pfizer yet, and I have asthma. So I cooling it. Me and Lyman, me ain't want to see none of all you. You understand? I staying away. Asthma and COVID-19 Brazilian variant, that don't mix. So me ain't playing. But the little bit of driving that I have done in the last 3 days, I have seen 6 citizens on the side of the highway with a bottle pouring gas into the tank. In the last 10 years, I've maybe seen 1. But in 3 days, I've seen 6 citizens parked up, not flat tire, not engine, not broke down car and thing, with a gas tank open and a little bottle pouring gas, a liter. What does that tell you all people? That citizens are going the extra mile to squeeze out the gas, taking risk and driving on E with the light on, hoping they could make it, and they're not making it. Why are they doing that? 2 reasons. 1, COVID-19 lockdown, shutdown, and broke down, and they're not working, P&M incompetence. And the second reason, gas price going up, aggregate demand, oil price rising, oil price rise, fuel price rise, no subsidy, you all voted for that. So the poorest people, the lower income earners, will not be able to drive the car that Bastille Pandey allowed them to buy back in the 90s by bringing in foreign use small cars so that poorer people, lower salaried workers could enjoy the security, comfort, and time saving of a car. This is coming, has taken it from many of you, and is coming to take it from many of you. And they're bringing the law to make sure that you can't do it. They're bringing the law now, and it's coming. And I told you all when aggregate demand in the globe returns to normal, that you all are going to have, look at there, man. You all are going to understand that if you used to spend 200 TT per week in your gas tank, I know that sounds a little bit, right? If you didn't drive that much, that is going to go up. That same amount of gas is going to cost you 500, 600 TT for the same amount of gas. The globe is going back to normal. Oil prices are going up. Fuel prices will return. Your gas subsidy is gone. By Colm, the Dwayne Imbert, who took it once, twice, 3 times. They're right, that's how. Take it again. He took it all. Now he come in with the full liberalization. He come in with the full hog without Vaseline. So prepare yourself. Because elections have consequences. And let me tell you all something. You all feel this politics thing is a bad word. We have issues in Parliament. We have an issue where in the Senate we are debating the gaming regulations. Where Colm Imbert and the P&M, for whatever reason, whether to protect their own big shot boys, which is their policy and which they like to do, and they want to get rid of all these small players who are getting and becoming competition for their big boys and their finances. They bring legislation to humbug all the medium and small businesses in the gaming industry. And they now come and they are saying, the UNC, Kamala Prasad-Bissessar says, listen, we have to get out there and represent people. So a temporary senator is put in there to discuss from the Bar Association and so on, to plead the case and to get up there and to let the population know and to let the government know the pain that they are going to inflict upon single mothers, workers, daily paid workers, bar owners, businesses already shutting down pre-COVID, during COVID, and now with gaming regulations and archaic, willful mashing up of an industry. You know, when a man going to make a contribution on behalf of those who are suffering, especially during COVID, the Bar Association come out and say, well, we're not in politics, we don't support no party, and we don't know what this man went there to talk. Why and where do we become such cowards? If you have an issue, so are you saying, Bar Association, you agree with what Colm Imbert and the P&M are doing you? You agree with them keeping you shut? You agree with them not allowing you to sell? You agree with them not allowing you to take and go? Do you agree with them coming to tax you out of business? You agree with that? So what you're talking about politics? The opposition has made it a place available for you to discuss, to talk, to try to change laws, to try to convince the government that what they are doing is suffering you. And you find doing that, you have to come out and say, oh gosh, I am not a UNC. Why? Because you're afraid. They done shafting you. They done victimizing you. It's very sad in a democracy when fair rules. Imagine man frightened to talk. Man who done getting shaft halfway up the K-Pax. Them frightened to talk because they might want the full shaft up the K-Pax. And y'all think we in a democracy? We in a total mess. Only some real cowards out there. And let me tell you something. PNM, well done, boy. I must say, inflicting fear on the population from the top come down, from intellectuals come down, from professionals come down, from millionaires come down to CPEP. Y'all have done that. Y'all have made this country afraid to talk, afraid to fight, afraid to stand up for what is right. And if y'all in the PNM find that that is good for our nation, and that nations thrive and creativity thrives and diversification thrives under fear and cowardice, well then y'all don't know what you're doing. The PNM is impacting this country for generations to come. We have no more brave people because everybody is holding on, hoping for a little piece of crumbs from the PNM. And they're frightened that if they talk out, one, they will get no more crumbs, and whatever crumbs they have, PNM will come and vacuum that out too. What a country we have. What a democracy we have, where all of us are frightened. Well, me, I know about all. Me afraid none of them, but that is all there. Talking about that, Caribbean Airlines, man. Carl, 450 jobs to go. I tell all you from Petroleum, if they could do Roger and the union, the OWTU, the strongest union in the history of the Caribbean, if Roger as a leader allow Rowley to do them that in Petroleum, everybody watch out. Support workers watch out. WASA workers it coming. TNTech it coming. TT Post it coming. Across the country it coming. Caribbean Airlines it coming. Whether it is pilot, your sweet stewardess, flight attendant, purser, staff on the ground, it coming. Furthermore, I told you that the mismanagement of the PNM knows no bounds. There was the Sabre system that I spoke to you all before. It's a system for checking in, international system, where when you check in and you buy your tickets early, you get a 2-day head start, and people, international agencies and security agencies can check and see who you are, where you're going, if you have any bad or mal intent, and so on. It's a very critical situation. I told you all before, the PNM had not paid the bill for the Sabre system about 12 months, and that they had cut it down to 50%, and that this was putting our airport classification at risk. Furthermore, I told you that the anti-monopoly agencies in the USA that promote competition and fair play were not pleased with Rowley and Smallpin and now Ethelbert's closure of the borders, locking out competition, where Caribbean Airlines was the only airline that could fly in here, go to Guyana. Guyana letting them go there, but Rowley and them cussing Guyana. But they were told, you have to open your borders because it's anti-competitive. The other airlines are working and all the world is opening up. So that's why, remember, we were wondering, how come Rowley want to open borders now? When we had 0 cases, no community spread, and 0 deaths, only 116 positive cases, no more. For 54 days, border wasn't open. Citizens kept outside starving, homeless, on the streets, in the subways, sleeping all over the world. Rowley ain't open. Now we dead in like rain. Wednesday, tomorrow coming is June 23rd. Let me see how much tests we doing, because the super spreader event, 14 days is tomorrow, from the debacle created by Rowley and Convangill to tell you, go for vaccine when they know they had none. That is the time. The science says that we have to pray hard today. We have to really pray, because tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the science says would not be good days in Trinidad and Tobago. But Caribbean Airlines now, 450 jobs to go. Call me, but and them coming for anything and everything across the board. How could you notice I didn't say no happy Labor Day, you know? Because when you have labor union leaders who soft, this is what happens. So when you see that our airport is now in jeopardy of being downgraded because the PNM ain't paying the bills for security, don't say I didn't tell all you know. Run it and show them. I told them that before now. Them government. So why Rowley just jump out so to open borders? Let me ask you all something. And I'm asking the government of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm asking the Civil Aviation Authority. I'm asking the Airports Authority. Has the U.S. government or the U.S. agencies, any FAA or any agency, either written, spoken, called, Zoom, or made note of what they describe as monopolistic, anti-competitive practices of Caribbean airlines, as Trinidad and Tobago's borders are closed, and only the national airline, Caribbean Airlines, could fly to Guyana and hit out to the States, bam, 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 and come back in Trinidad, and no other airline could fly in here. No other airline can compete for business here because the borders are closed. Does the US have a problem with that? Does the FAA have a problem with that? Was any agency in the government written to by the US authorities complaining about the anti-competitive nature of what is going on with the borders being closed? And does this have anything to do with the illogical, wild statement that came out Saturday that we opening borders in 4 to 6 weeks? These are questions that we need answered, please. And I like that color shirt because that color shirt look like the shirt of the OWTU, the proud union of Uriah Buzz Butler. We just celebrated Labor Day, but we can't even say the word celebrate because this government under Keith Christopher Rowley is the most anti-labor government since colonial times. And when I see this man here, Anil Roberts, he went to put President General, I don't know how he still have a work. Everybody in the union lost in the work, but he still have a work. I don't know, Trinidad and Tobago is not a real place. A man whose work it is to keep people work, making everybody lost them work, and he still have a work. Only in Trinidad and Tobago, only in a country that would elect a bald idiot like Rowley to be prime minister, that no other country, no other person would ever look at him leaning to the left. I want to investigate this leaning to the left, you know, Roger. I wonder how he does lean still. I wonder if Emery Brown could tell me anything about that. Keith Scotland, anybody help me with that leaning to the left now? Randall Mitchell, anybody want to help me with the lean to the left? But this man who does lean to the left, he gone to place a wreath on Saturday, on Labor Day, at a monument built in honor of Labrador Charles. It is alleged that Charles resembled Tubal Uriah Buzz Butler, and he was shot and killed by police officers who mistook him for Butler. Well, let me tell you something, Roche. Charles, who was mistaken for Butler, and Butler, them want to hit you a Macron because them can't believe what you have done to the OWTU and by extension, labor in Trinidad and Tobago. Because if you could knock out, anybody know, long time when we in party and thing and we going and fight, wildness young boys, or you're on a football field and you're going and fight, you always know you have to assess who is the baddest man. And if you're going and fight, especially if you're outnumbered, we know you gotta hit the baddest man hard and fast first in order to have some chance to survive. So when Rowley was allowed to hit the baddest union in the history of Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean, the strongest, most powerful union, he hit that union with one fell swoop with the help of this lean to the left man. He hit them bam, bam, and fire everybody. And you could hear crickets chirping. Well, once you hit the baddest man, everybody else under pressure. So what's up, PSA, Watson Duke? Sorry, this man, give them the encouragement to come at all here. Across the board, port workers, Anisette, sorry, That man, this man, give them authority to come at all here. Tech, TT Post, Caribbean Airline, where you feel pilot. All you going and play strong? I less strong like this man? Roger, a total disgrace. There was a video there I talk about it. I tell all about it. Archie, play Anil, what say about Roger? All you fall asleep out. All right, well, I'll you find out. Roger said, Minister of Public Utilities, whatever his name is, was joking at the other day. Oh, well, I saw what they did at Petroleum and Heritage and all. What they did at Petroleum. Bust all your throat. Tell all your mama gizam what a man who does lean to the left. I'm not hearing from the man who does lean to the left anymore. And it ain't Labour Day coming, where the strong fighting Labour leader, the inspirational Roger, the clown, who attacked Kamala. And when Kamala was Prime Minister, all he union had work. Refinery running, everybody working. But he hate Kamala. He attacked Kamala. He take Kamala, put she in one of them, a mannequin, and drag she through the streets. But Rowley bust all their throat. Rowley fire everybody. And he leaned to the left and say, great is the PNM. It shall prevail. Where's that man? Because they bust all their throat. That was restructuring. Wassa restructuring coming. Bus throat coming. Port restructuring coming. Bus throat coming. Caribbean Airlines restructuring coming. Bus throat coming. TT Post restructuring coming. Bus throat coming. Everybody want to vote again? Caribbean Airlines, all you must say, Anil have a crystal ball. You think I friendly with Yesenia Gonzalez and I rub the crystal ball and I take the cards and I say Caribbean Airlines and I predict? No, Anil no have no crystal ball. Anil just know what you vote for. Anil know that the Dwayne no like no people. Don't like no people at all. He come to take all of you out. And he can do what he want. And you all vote for that. What you want me to say again? Election need people. It need numbers. It need vote. It need thought. It need passion. One person can do it. What all you want me to say again? And then hear this one. Hear this Roger now. Roger, more on refinery later. Who the hell say we want to hear about what refinery? Where? When? How, Roger? They shut down refinery, Roger. Roger, refinery gone, Roger. All your workers gone, Roger. Election gone, Roger. Rowley is Prime Minister, Roger. You put him there, Roger. Kamala had you working, Roger. And you didn't like she, Roger. Because like you don't like woman, Roger. Lean to the left. Ansel Roger said the union will have more to say at a later date about the unsuccessful efforts of its Patriotic Energies and Technologies Company Limited to acquire former Petroleum refinery in Pointe-à-Pierre. The government worked behind the scenes to ensure the Patriotic deal failed. Really, Roger? All of that was just a ruse. You now know that, Roger. You put them in the day, they digging out the treasury, they sucking out the treasury, they renting building to each other, they firing everybody, labor has been decimated, they're doing what they want, $23 billion, heritage and stabilization gone, we dead in COVID-19. You now know that it was a ruse. You've woken up from your slumber. Were you sleeping? To the left? Look at who catch all you. Look who fool you, Roger, you big dunce. Run it.
Because the OWTU formed a company called Patriotic. They put in a bid for the refinery, and we selected them as the preferred bidder because they were by far the best bidder. And I don't want to talk out of turn. We gave Petroleum a month to deal with some issues that the evaluation team is mainly public servants and experts, had some issues with how Patriotic was looking at how they will take over the refinery. So they asked them 10 questions. And I can report tonight that Patriotic has answered those 10 questions. And the cabinet will be making a decision on that in the very near future. If everything works according to plan, we're going to move the OWTU from a trade union to a commercial business company earning money for its members. Only PNM could do that. You think UNC could do that? You think UNC could build a new society like that? Taking a trade union from being workers to being owners of capital and generators of income? Only PNM could do that. Only we. And as Dr. Rowley said, he take all kind of insult from them. All kind of talk from them, talking about the trade union. He take all kind of buff from them. All kind of insult from them. But they put in the best bid. And we don't deal with things based on grievance or who insults you. They put in the best bid, and we are going to work with the oil field workers trade union to create that new system, that new refinery. So this is what your PNM government is doing. And this country's future is bright.
The only thing bright is this light inside of here. You're correct. The UNC can't do that. Can't stand up there with a straight face with your short midget Dwayne self and lie down the place. Or they answer 10 questions and the cabinet is working with Patriot and the PNM has taken labor union and turned them into capital and investors and all lie. Lie. And this is what you all did. Let me show all you what my people, and I love all you know. I just hope we could wake up and stop studying these bag of clowns telling you about who black and who does eat banana and who's Indian and don't have weave and who does eat roti and doubles and pilau and corn soup and who does lie by the river and who does lie by the beach. All of we does do all of that. We need to stop it because we can't have this bag of idiots in power because we didn't study to think. All that man said there, lie. He lied. And look at you, brother. Yes, man.
Election campaign.
Yes,
Nobody
man.
gave them any regulations.
Oh, Lord.
The Commissioner of Police.
Where the petrol said, oh, Lord, patriotic. Dip back, yes, Roger. Lean back like Roger now. Oh, God, wine on it. Yes, wine on the oil. Bring it by. Oh, God, Carl. Yes, Titi Post. Oh, God, Wassa. Yes, Tech. Heritage and Stabilization. Oh, God, Al Rawi. Give me a little loan from the rental. Oh, God, Stuart Young. Where your brother gone? Wine your neck. What all you want me say again? I try my best to tell all you. Politics is not no game. How many are y'all? How many children now had to drop out of Costa, UTT, the degree program, medical school? Parents can't afford. How many? But all you had Fazal Karim and Kamla Prasad Bisesade, 800 million in gate. Them shut down the gate down to 400, close half the gate on all you before COVID. Now the gate must be concrete wall block off there now. And here Roger now. All of a sudden Roger leaned to the left and he realized it was a ruse. We've been hoodwinked. We've been bamboozled. Oh my God. The PNM. Roger, nobody want to hear you, boy. But I go still read what he say. For all of you, when I walk with David Lee, and we talk to people in Pointe-à-Pitre, in San Fernando West, with sobers and so on. And workers telling me, nah man, Petrotrin coming back. Patriotic will get it. Roger would get it. It's just a temporary setback. And I say, but you believe in these liars? It had nothing. It was a Venezuela scheme. They get busted. It had no money. They skull in. But them have other people who they want to sell it and deal with it. It's all a ruse. They say, nah man, they believe Roger. Well, here Roger now. Government misrepresenting COVID stats, says Roger. Accusing the government of mishandling the pandemic and the vaccination program, Oilfield Workers Trade Union President Anil Roberts says that the number of COVID-19 cases in TNT has been underrepresented by the government. They seem to have absolutely no sympathy and empathy for the grieving families. But you vote for them, you put them there, you tell them Kamala is a beast, Kamala don't like people when Kamala have everybody working, create 55,000 jobs, have different disabled grants, pension plan, increase culture funding, sport funding across the board, increase building schools, 106 schools, increase schools feeding, increase gate, increase opportunities, build MIC and NESE centers across the board for people. You tell them, you tell your people, vote Rowley, vote Heartless, vote procurement without procurement, vote Imbert, Imbert don't even like himself. They seem to have absolutely no sympathy and empathy. They are definitely not reporting the true picture. This is your PNM. I thought they reported the true picture about you and Patriotic and Refinery, and we're not closing down Petrotrain. And if you was closing your fridge down, we're not closing down Petrotrain. And you set up your whole union because you're an idiot who leans to the left, Roger. Let's read more from an idiot who now realizing the truth. But nobody cares, but I will still read it. Our healthcare system has been collapsing for quite a while, long before COVID-19. And you tell everybody, vote Rowley, vote Imbert, vote Convan Girl, vote PNM, vote. I nearly sound like Peter C. there, boy, vote. Yes, man. He continued, the Prime Minister told everyone to go to Tobago for Easter. Tobago is the place to be. Remember that? 50,000 people went. Roger said that was a major super spreader. He said the vaccination program was also a failure. Herd immunity remains just an elusive dream. That is just like Patriotic Refinery, an elusive dream, Roger. Your eye open now, but too late shall be the cry. You're clung. Roger noted that surreptitious arrangements are being made to make special vaccines available for certain people. But you ain't get one, Roger. But you was getting a refinery. I mean, they ain't giving you a vaccine out of the surreptitious set. You ain't even get that, Roger. You put them in charge of the treasury to gut procurement, to keep your refinery shut, to give Nikwan gas to blow up, and workers are getting paid, workers getting fired, and you can't even get a Pfizer, Roger. Roger, you lean to the left, and they come to inject you in the right. Well, take CIO, boy. Take CIO, because the UK said no to CIO. Canada said no to CIO. Roger also said, while the borders were closed, the coastline remains wide open. Really, Roger? But Kamala said she's going to build a dome, and you and Rowley was laughing. Dome builders, dome masons, dome cleaners, dome this, and them your dumb dumbs. Now you crying? He continued on. He also said healthcare workers were being exploited. Well, all workers will be exploited because you led them into a position of weakness. You led them into the shark mouth. And the shark eat. The shark eating labor now left, right, and center. And the Dwayne is laughing. Because of you. Because Labour had no leader. You are the biggest goat in the history of Labour. You have taken a mighty union and turned it into a mouse. Due to poor hiring and poor management practices at some of the RHAs, the staffing is severely short. Yes, and who go take you on? You've been hoodwinked, bamboozled. Them outsmart you. So who go take you on? You're talking a lot of sense now. Problem is, nobody cares, Roger. You're a total, you will go down in the annals of history as the biggest flop. You have taken labor movement, labor strength, labor power, labor patriotism, labor belief back about 100 years. The same man who fooled you, lying to the population and trying to say, well, the Chinese loan we have is less conditions, you know, less, the IMF prescriptions are really onerous and dangerous, and the country can't take that. Never mind you giving me that long time. Yeah, signed with the IMF, but the IMF prescriptions are implemented by the PNM for the last 6 years. But the region could benefit from IMF new liquidity support. So here we but lie. Remember he tell you, if we go to the IMF, they have to do so many things. We have to fire 20,000 people and so on. It's very dangerous to the economy. Caribbean member countries of the International Monetary Fund could benefit from as much as 2.4 billion US in additional liquidity support under the entity's newly proposed US 650 billion special drawing rights SDR allocation. The overall provision is intended to aid in the global recovery from the economic fallout resulting from the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, right? And during the webinar, they said there's no conditionalities and prescriptions. This is emergency funding to save economies. But come to tell you, the reason he went to the Chinese loan and so on and signed the 205 million was because there were less conditionalities than IMF. He flipping lie. When we come back, taking a short break. Some always feel like I come back now. I just gonna drink some water. douglAR politics, share the live. We go in and talk. Express here. Is that you? Express? I'm going to express myself. We coming back.
I'm pleased to tell you that after what happened last week, Wednesday into Thursday to Friday, we did pause. We started on Wednesday, and notwithstanding 1 or 2 hiccups here and there, including a shower of rain here and there, all the reports I've had have been that the system has worked well, and those who were encouraged to come out were given good service, and we think that we have gotten over that, and we now know what we will do going forward as we get the vaccines.
Express newspaper, you pretend to be the bastion of journalistic integrity and so on. I'm here in a little room. I need confirmation. I want to read it in the Express. I'm hearing that Express TV6, wherever, that company OCM, that you have a problem with Urvashi Tiwari Rupnarayan, that she used obscene language. I read the post, and I really would like to know, to the OCM group, what she did that was so egregious. Because from what I read, she was espousing her passion for her journalistic integrity, for the search for truth, and to print and to report the truth to the people on behalf of the citizens of this country, without fear or favor, without malice or ill will. And she describes herself as an MFer. So I'm not sure exactly what she was fired for. She did not curse anybody. She did not ill speak anyone. She was describing herself. Now, if that's your policy, that if you curse you can't be a journalist, then I think you better read international journalism and so on. But furthermore, Express TV6 and OCM Group, if this was so egregious that a reporter, that we are to believe, now what we have seen is this reporter asking some serious question, and Dunciad ministers and people can't answer. They can't answer, and they're embarrassing themselves. That's what the nation saw. Now, me ain't have no brief for no media, and I don't want no media like me. Me ain't care. All I ask, you ask us, the UNC, you ask Kamla, you ask the UNC, hard questions. Ask the PNM, the same hard questions. Dig for the truth and don't play games. But OCM, who's in charge of the Express newspaper, you suspend this one that I'm hearing. So please confirm now. I'm asking because I want confirmation for talking on Facebook and describing herself using a profane word, profanity. All right. That's against your anti-cussing policy. What other policies you have? Because you all had a reporter under the OCM working for Express called Asha Javid, and she was in love and sleeping with and loving and making children with one side of red while writing political investigative pieces, front page, in a two-party system with red versus yellow. She didn't make a child for red and a child for yellow. She made children for red, and then she leave that and go on to her next red man, who is the #1 advisor and Gary Sobers to Keith Rowley. But she kept writing in your newspaper. You didn't suspend her when I bust on Power 102, the fact and confirmed that she was in those loving relationships. Because I don't care who she loved, that's her business. But if you are saying that you have suspended this reporter for using a cuss word to describe herself, you are saying that that was more egregious than a reporter doing investigative pieces while loving up and hugging up PNM. So I'm in love with PNM. PNM, I make PNM children. I'm a PNM honor man, is a PNM of the PNM. And I'm writing articles attacking the UNC, using up #1 newspaper, printing lies, and going without the integrity of journalistic integrity, morals, fairness, equity. You didn't do that, Asha Javid, anything. I didn't hear any suspension or any disciplinary action. So Express, are you telling me that you are promoting journalistic prostitution while discouraging journalistic warriors? So a woman describes herself as a journalistic warrior to say that, listen, I am one MFer who is going to get the truth and fight for the people, and you suspend that? So you're not for the people? You don't want people who are passionate about getting the truth, especially in a pandemic, when our people are dying, when your readers are dying, when the people who buy your #1 newspaper and your TV6 rated #1 show and all of this, y'all don't care about that? OCM, Express, TV6? But y'all could leave a journalist without suspension, move her from political journalism, put her in the business pages where there's a lot of politics, there's a lot of rentals, there are a lot of deals, there are a lot of negotiations, there's a Clico, there's a Guardian Holdings, there's a Sagicor sale with Maritime, a lot of political issues with big money things involving family members of her lover, who is a PNM big boy, who's so big, he is the Minister of Energy, but he talking in national security, and El Telbert had to keep his rasta self, pumps it himself home. But y'all let suspend that? When y'all had Anika Gums Sandyford writing OCM under you, and printing lie after lie, questionable financial practices, also with Asha Javid, I would love you all to do a little audit on she, because what all you're paying she and how she living, it don't match up. But all you investigate that, you ain't suspend she, you ain't ask she where she does rest she head, you didn't ask her where she saw the clause in the oil contract with ES Euro shipping. Remember, she's the only one saw the clause? The sanction clause, no sanction country, make sure. She's the only one saw it. Where she saw it? While she was lying down on her back. But y'all didn't suspend her. Y'all didn't suspend her when, day after day, while the UNC and the partnership is in government, did y'all go back and check all the lies she print? Go back and check Live Sport. Go back and check the front pages. Go back and check the nonsense that woman print. And that's just me. I talk about all people, partnership ministers, while she was in a loving relationship with 2 PNM ministers, one former Attorney General and one superstar minister of everything. but she was writing against the UNC, and politics is perception. Journalism has to be fair. You must not only be impartial, you must appear to be impartial. There cannot be bias in any form or fashion. But OCM, y'all didn't suspend that. So you're promoting journalistic prostitution, but firing journalistic warriors. You know what? This douglAR, glad. I happy because you show your face. You unmask yourself, express. I have been trying to tell my people that you and the media are sick, that you all carry a torch for Rowley and the PNM that causes our country to dive down. How could we elect such an idiot, such a heartless person, such an incompetent? And the answer is because OCM, because of people like your group, where your media is biased and not impartial, where it is partial, where you control the mindshare of the people, along with the Guardian and the Newsday, Judy Raymond. That is how an idiot becomes Prime Minister. That is how Biden and Kamala will have conversations and he will get nothing. That is how we end up a tight friendship with Maduro and Delcy, with PDVSA, and the Yankee don't want to see we. That is how we end up with an economy shattered, with people dying, with Brazilian variant, with Delta and Indian variant coming in because of media like y'all. So I am happy that y'all have shown what you are, because the country knows. UNC, apolitical, even PNM. The country can see, and they could go back and look at this ladies' questions that the population had, asking. And if we are ministers and if we are in government, we must answer the questions. Keith Christopher Rowley was a man who said that. I'd send only a voice note, but I forget to tell her to prepare it, When Rowley said, once you're in public office, you must be questioned, you must answer questions, you must be willing, because you handle the people's resources. This young lady asking questions, and she gets suspended for saying what? She is one MFer who will fight for the people. And you don't like that? Who you wanted to fight for? If she had said she's one MFer who fight for the PNM, she get a raise? You put she up in West Hills, she get a small pin? What she would have get, OCM? Is that what y'all, but y'all give me an opportunity to frank comment, show your bias, your sickness, and your Rowleyitis. And that is why our country is going down. And to all you citizens out there, I'm fed up, tell all you, I beg all you, stop buying these things. Stop letting them turn you into sheep. Think about it. Barbados have Mia Moore Motley. Guyana have new prime minister, president, everything moving good. Grenada, brilliant prime minister. Antigua, Barbuda, Bermuda, Jamaica, her wholeness, coming down the line. Everybody have a leader that they could be proud of, that they could look up to, that even the opposition forces have to kind of say, well, boy, they're doing kind of good. And we have Rowley. We have a teacher who impregnated a girl of school age since 1969. We have a man with landed thing rolled from by a hospital to he. Man built a sheep farm without approval. Over $2 billion as Minister of Housing, with he and Noel Garcia spent when houses incomplete all over the place. Edinburgh 500 across the board. He's the man who built Greenvale and buy land from Rahal. He's the man with Renaissance gone up in the sky. He's the man of Emailgate. He's the man of Delcy. He's the man of PDVSA. He's the man of Astrobal Chavez. He's the man of No Vaccine. He's the man attack Guyana. He's the man attack Mandela. He's the man attack Rio Treaty. He's the man attack USA. That clown is Prime Minister because of media houses like y'all. You are hurting the country. And now you suspend a reporter for describing herself as a warrior. Brilliant. While you promote, enhance reporters who find ministers to go and live with and sleep with and horn with. Fantastic. I'm proud of y'all. Great job. You had some video to play there for me? All you had? No? Or you had a clip? No, let me read something. Somebody gave me something from this story. I'm going to read it for you. Because it's a former Fatima boy. And I'm going to read it. The story of the donkey and the tiger. And I want OCM, Express, TV6, Newsday, and Guardian, and all others, CNC3, TTT, with Natalie Legore, who could call our Prime Minister to get she PCR test, but the rest are we dead in like dog. The story of the donkey and the tiger. The donkey told the tiger, the grass is blue. The tiger replied, no, the grass is green. The discussion became heated, and two decided to submit the issue to arbitration. And to do so, they approached the lion, king of the jungle. Now, this arbitration was a real arbitration and did not include the Mahani Makaram Ramesh Lawrence Maharaj. Before reaching the clearing in the forest, where the lion was sitting on his throne, the donkey started screaming, Your Highness, is it true the grass is blue? The lion replied, True, the grass is blue. The donkey rushed forward, and continued. The tiger disagrees with me and contradicts me and annoys me. Please punish him. The king then declared, the tiger will be punished with 5 years of silence. The donkey jumped for joy and went on his way, content, repeating, the grass is blue, the grass is blue. The tiger accepted his punishment, but he asked the lion, Your Majesty, why have you punished me? After all, the grass is green. The lion replied, In fact, the grass is green. The tiger asked, So why do you punish me? Why would you punish me when I was correct? The lion replied, That has nothing to do with the question of whether the grass is blue or green. The punishment is because it is not possible for a brave, intelligent creature like you to waste time arguing with a donkey. And on top of that, to come and bother me with that question. The worst waste of time is arguing with the fool and fanatic who doesn't care about truth or reality, but only the victory of their beliefs and illusions. Never waste time on discussions that make no sense. There are people who, for all the evidence presented to them, do not have the ability to understand, and others who are blinded by ego, hatred, and resentment. And the only thing that they want is to be right, even if they aren't. When ignorance screams, intelligence shuts up. Your peace and tranquility are worth more. So to those at OCM, the truth has come out. And to Uvashi Tiwari Rupnarine, stay quiet, take your unjust punishment, and come back out and be the warrior. And if the UNC is in government, be a warrior. And if Kamala is Prime Minister, be a warrior and ask her hard questions. And if David Lee is the Minister of Energy, ask him the hard questions. If Tim Gopi Singh or Fazal Karim or Saddam Hussein are ministers, Anita Haynes, Jerlene, John Wade, Mark, whoever, ask them the hard questions and they must answer. We must answer. So to the OCM, to the Express, to the TV6, to Guardian, to Newsday, and taking the advice of the lion, I will no longer argue with fools. The Express said, as we talk about that, parallel vaccine highways, opinion 21st of June 2021. They said the interpretation in Georgetown in Guyana of Dr. Keith Rowley's comments regarding approved vaccines was exaggerated, distorted, and downright false. Really? I'm not arguing with you, Express, because I've already noted that you all are fools. However, for those sensible people out there, let me tell you, Keith Christopher Rowley has overseen the worst vaccine program in the world. In CARICOM, we are dead last. We are suffering and we are dying. We are Brazilian variant, and once we go in ICU, we die. And he came out to defend his stupidity by trying to throw shade on other countries, on Guyana, on other countries who took care of their people, just like the developed world did. Because not everybody, no one waited for WHO approvals. And they are emergency approvals, not full approvals anyway. Those who needed to open their economies, understanding the risk to economic devastation and health had to be dealt with creatively and brilliantly. They moved together swiftly to vaccinate their populations. Some of them have reached herd immunity and are open for business across the board. We in Trinidad and Tobago are behind. We are last. We are suffering. We are on lockdown, shutdown, broke down, and dead down. We have been under curfew and state of emergency. We cannot move. We cannot work. We cannot do anything. But here the Express says, and this is why I call them fools. They say that Guyana and Georgetown Chamber was wrong and false. But hear what they say. By inference, he may have been insensitive to CARICOM officials. By inference, he may have been insensitive. That means he was wrong, fast, and out of place, insensitive. Why would he even talk about it? Why was it a discussion? Why was there need for comparison? Why would he have to say that, oh, he was so careful with WHO, this WHO thing? WHO is not the be-all and end-all of anything in the globe. But he said, in the circumstances, they move on, right? So that's the Express. But let me tell you something. We have a video here, and I'm going to, which one are you doing? Show the Rowley CARICOM comparison. Show it and listen carefully to what the Express
Ladies and
is saying.
gentlemen, I want to indicate to you that the vaccination program in Trinidad and Tobago is as good as, and probably better than, most, certainly in the CARICOM and worldwide. Of the 14 CARICOM countries, the only country in CARICOM that has received into its borders more vaccines than Trinidad and Tobago is Guyana. And the reason for that is that Guyana took a decision which we did not take. I've raised that at this platform before, but I'll raise it again. The Guyana government took a decision that Trinidad and Tobago did not take, and that is, early in the proceedings, to use vaccines that were not approved by the World Health Organization. And of course, if you see Barbados, which has a fairly high level of vaccination, 100,000 of those units in Barbados were units which Barbados received and accepted before they were WHO approved. So outside of that, if you remove that from the scene, you would see that Barbados would be in league with the rest of the CARICOM. And of course, Dominica was the same situation. I want you to pay that diagram I showed you a while ago. You would have noticed that Haiti is a member of CARICOM. Haiti is the most populous CARICOM country. Has 11 million people. They have not vaccinated one person there yet.
So let's start from the back first, compares Trinidad and Tobago to Haiti. He who spent $23 billion of your money, more than Haiti would make in 10 years. Haiti who has suffered through history. Haiti who just went through devastating earthquakes, hurricane, corruption. Haiti, whose major industry for the last 25 years has been textile, but not textile production. They import material and sew it into clothes, shirt and pants. That's their main revenue earner. This clown compares us to Haiti. And in order to make himself look like something as the chairman of CARICOM, he tries to throw shade on Guyana and Barbados. When we have been seeing, looking, reading, and observing the brilliance of the CARICOM leaders in Guyana and Barbados especially, their creativity, their ingenuity, their focus on science, their love and care. The Bajans took care of our 33. Remember from way back in March of 2020, our 33 citizens who were locked out by that sick man. The Barbados government opened its arms to them in the pandemic and took care of our citizens. While we said keep them out because we ain't want COVID, but Barbados have limited little COVID, plenty business going on, open borders, open play, people visiting, money running. But we who turn we back on we own citizen on lockdown, shutdown, broke down, dead down, and SOE. And that man talking with arrogance and trying to bring down the efforts of Guyana and Barbados, and then compare we with poor Haiti, who with no resources would mash we up in football, by the way, under this clown who put a woman who does jog as Minister of Sport. Let me just show you. Anyway, Barra Jagdeo could handle himself. So let me hear from Barra Jagdeo from Guyana. Run it.
For changes of protocol, more lockdown, and we have demonstrated that there is no empirical evidence to say that by shifting curfew hours you're going to get less rates of infection, because people often during the course of the day they engage in economic activities and other activities that without wearing a mask or observing any protocol. So, but we will keep a close watch on the situation. Having said that, working aggressively to build the capability, we also, as I pointed out, had to have this nuanced approach. Unlike some countries that are totally shut down, look at Trinidad and Tobago, look at the numbers there. And that country has been almost in a perpetual state of lockdown for the past year. And it did not help really. They now have numbers 20-something dying in a single day, etc. So we have to keep people working to at least economic activities going, and at the same time try to urge our people, all of our people, every
economic impact, health impact, intelligence, creativity, balance. We, economic devastation, we, dead in. What does that tell you? Guyana and Barbados have bad leaders. Run Mia and more Motley. Let's see. Ketos, you dunce.
The second major thing is that we want to be able to create a bubble for some level of travel from those countries that really and truly present no major risk to us. And we're doing this of our own initiative, but we anticipate that some people will probably reciprocate. We had a bubble before, but it was a bubble for all passengers. We're now saying that we are prepared to introduce a bubble for vaccinated passengers for those countries within the Caribbean that meet our criteria that is determined both, and the Ministry of Health's criteria reflects: one, whether the country is deemed low risk by the automated shape country risk assessment tool, and whether it has been designated not to be at the community transmission phase according to the WHO. And against that background, it therefore means that immediately from the 30th of June, when we introduce this bubble, persons who are fully vaccinated can come to Barbados with a negative PCR test, and we will not have to test you at the airport because of the criteria that the Ministry of Health has used to determine that the risk is absolutely low. And let me give you an example. A country like Dominica has had little or no cases. A country like Anguilla and Montserrat, the same thing. Grenada has been able to control itself as well, fairly well, and the issue therefore Based on the criteria and the green and red that I have before me, we will be able to ensure that fully vaccinated persons with a negative PCR test coming from Grenada, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Anguilla, Montserrat, BVI, Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, and Bermuda can immediately enter without a further test on arrival.
And the only thing from Trinidad and Tobago that could go Barbados is that Heliconia, that Balize behind she. Because we have an idiot running us and we on the red list. We really red. We red. Look at what she's doing, Motley. The curfew will be removed completely from June 30th and her curfew working. She in a bubble. Hey, PNM, you know what? You know what she looking for? You're looking for jobs. She's going to need bubble builders. She's going to need bubble carpenters, bubble sweepers. PNM, Karen Nunes Teixeira, you all who laughing about Dome, you know, Madly, or your clap. She's going to need bubble makers. She's going to be bubble mixers because she's going to build a bubble. Trinidad and Tobago. A shame. I shame. Not even Tobago in the bubble. Tobago that was down at 0 before Rowley said, oh, Tobago is down at 0. We have no cases because we manage it so well. Come to Tobago. Tobago's the place to be. Bring the Brazilian variant. Travel 50,000. Come across. Party, Palance, Mars. Pick up something and pelt it away. Motley, Barbados will create a bubble for fully vaccinated passengers. Our people still can't come home. Borders locked down. We dead in. And that's what y'all are talking about. Rowley criticizing Barbados and Guyana. The man is fast and out of place. Furthermore, that's a prime minister with a landslide majority. And the next time at an election, people will say she guaranteed to win again. But do you hear how humbly she's talking when addressing us citizens? Talking with humility. We have a clown that has us starving. Over 180,000 people lost work. People not making money. Crime rampant. COVID-19, Brazilian variant, porous borders, exemption policy, oppressing people, and he's shouting down at we and talking to we like he's some big Sawati. You all want to see more? Watch some brilliance of Barbados. I want to apply for Barbados passport. Watch this.
My hand. So Barbados is extremely organized. Amazing. We got banded with these trackers. You have to download an app called BIM Safe, and this tracks your temperature twice daily. And you also have to write it down manually in case anything happens with the app. And your Bluetooth and your Wi-Fi has to be on constantly on your phone in order for this tracker to work. So this is what that is. It's a tracker.
We have is when Rowley trying to track the reporter and then when they're asking him question because he feels he's the hottest gun in the south. Hey Rowley, that's the tracker we have. The other tracker we have is to see who is the most dunce inside the cabinet. Whether it's convent girl, small pin, tight shut, or Rowley himself. It's a good battle. We're done there now. We're done there. My people, $23 billion. Red, left foot, right foot. Look at Hamper. Look at what Mia Amor Motley gave her people with Hamper. And she ain't spent no $23 billion in 16 months, you know. Watch Barbados Hamper and watch my people Hamper.
But what I trying to understand here, right? All the government, this government, let me tell you something. I guess all they need some new consultants, all they need people to give all the ideas what to do. Because all they just sit down there and like all they in a bubble, all they don't know what to do, all they just like watching, this one go say something, that one go say no, man, all they so, like all they confused, like all they don't know what to do. Because you know why? When the steak and the lobster come in front, all they forget what was the eye, and all they laugh, and all they drink all the big thing, and then after the back to the, when we were talking about again, we was talking about, I guess that is what taking place around that big table with all of the ministers and them who cook up there with all the nice food. I guess that is what taking place, because all they not paying attention. All they give people one hamper, right? Hands out to some of the people and them in different area, right? The MPs and them who is actually giving hamper as well, right? Hands out to them. All they giving people hamper. One time you could sign up for this hamper. All they expect that hamper to last them for months. Think about it. When all they give them that hamper and that finish, what are they gonna need? All they not studying that. All they not studying that.
All you're studying that. On top of that, Rowley criticizing everybody, but telling we that he and Colm sit down and negotiate a Chinese loan because it had less prescription than the IMF, and we used to take Xiao, Sinopharm. Okay, I was making the point. Why are we going to number 4 or number 5? Why not number 1? Why are my people not worth gold medal, silver medal, or bronze medal? Do you know now that all of you who have Sinopharm, well, if you're not planning to travel, that's okay. But do you know the UK and Europe have not approved Sinopharm, so you can't fly out there? So if you have to work, or you have jobs, you have Notting Hill Carnival, you have a job interview, you're going to study and so on, you have to get some other vaccine on top of what you already take. They didn't want to tell you that. Do you know that Canada has now said no Sinopharm? They approve certain vaccines and Sinopharm is not on the list. Now, what are we, the argument Rowley and them say, well, take what you get. A vaccine is better than nothing. Yes, it is. But we live in a global world. We have business to conduct. We need to make money. We need to invest. We need to diversify. Our people need to travel. So we don't live in a bubble. Well, we have to make a bubble by ourselves. Because we're not in nobody else's bubble. But further than that, Rowley talking about the Pfizer shipment, looking like he didn't know what he talking about. When he started to lie, they started to stutter. Rowley started to explain about something that he didn't explain about on the Saturday when it was due to come, and saying that it's normal, and people who talking about it are making mischief, and them could bring in, certain groups could now bring in, all of a sudden, bring in vaccination because them have friend outside who's selling. So if I have a friend outside want to send for douglAR Politics 200 doses of Pfizer, they could send it for me? Run it. Let me hear Rowley. Yeah, all they have it, what's going on there, boy? They want me spin.
A lot being said about vaccines being made available from the United States offer. A lot of that so far has been conversational. There has been no release of any of those vaccines to come to any of us.
Right. Now go again to Rowley now explaining a few days later. Because right there he said on the Saturday before, when the story bust on social media, vaccine land, no customs seize it, no paper, to whom it may concern, to nobody. Ministry of Health, Parasam come and say, yeah, we find out late, but we knew, and it going so. Ministry of National Security sent out 2 different press releases, 8 minutes apart. Well, here what Rowley say now. Come in now, Rowley, you honest man.
With regards to vaccine, again, could you bring as much clarity as possible to the whole Pfizer issue?
What?
Pfizer issue, the 80 vials.
That. When you're home and told not to go to work, and you are also on the government payroll in the parliament and you have nothing to do, you could get involved in all kinds of things, It just keeps the mind going. There's nothing to clarify because it was clarified from day one. But it was so simple, so straightforward, and because you're predisposed not to believe, because as I said before, in this country, especially now, People have been so accustomed to being lied to that when you tell them the truth now, as I've been telling you all along, you have a little difficulty dealing with it. That gift of the 400 doses to vaccinate 200 people came to the government for permission to accept the gift. A department in the Ministry of National Security, their colleagues who they work with in the United States offered them that handful of vaccines. They didn't accept it. They came to the government and asked, as they normally would do, because government departments don't accept gifts left willy-nilly all over the place. They have to get some authorization. That authorization was given to accept it for that purpose. So it starts with that. And for those of you who raised and made a big issue of the fact that I didn't raise it here, and it got front page about hush hush and secrecy and curious, I'm glad you had something to put on your front page. Because clearly, if I had mentioned it here, you'd have had a blank first page. I could not have mentioned it here last Saturday because after the government gave the approval for the department to accept the gift, no information came back as to when the gift would actually be handed over or when it would actually arrive in the country. So when I spoke here at 2 o'clock last week, I had no idea where the gift was. What I did know is that an offer was made and the department here was authorized to accept it. It was later in the night that I discovered that whoever had offered it actually brought it. Yeah? And in so doing, they brought it into our normal entry system. And I see all kind of conspiracy theory, right? Because somebody was trying to sneak in, but there was no sneaking it in. If we had said no to it, we would have said no to 400 vaccines. Just 400 more than we had. And of course, it turned out to be Pfizer vaccine. And of course, as you know, some people feel that Pfizer vaccine is the Rolls Royce and you have to get that. There was nothing to it.
Hey, I'm sorry, you know, boy. All you oh God. No, so you know, so somebody sent a gift. It comes through normal port. So what custom sees it for? To whom it may concern? Where were the documents? Where was the Ministry of Health approval? Where was the sign off? Who it going to in the Ministry of National Security? Which department in the Ministry of National Security is more special than other arms of national security? Who are these elite special group that you could just get a gift just so, without the proper forms, without the C-82 form, without the landing documents, where customs had to seize it, had to call for the comptroller of customs, had to call for the pharmacist. The parasam didn't know. Nobody here know. You didn't know. But it reached, and it's not secret. Rowley, I don't know who does believe this fool again, you know. Yeah? And some people believe Pfizer is the gold medal. Nah, man. We go take Xiao, but we can't go UK with Xiao. We can't go Canada. All of we have family in Canada. Canada is like we brother and sister. Or we can't go Canada with Xiao. But you talking? Then here, Rowley. Rowley then. But people just lie so much. My goodness, you can't believe nobody in this opposition and all these people. Rowley, the greatest documented liar in the history of Commonwealth politics, to calling other people liar. I can't make this up, you know. All you feel douglAR politics, just make it up. Run it.
But you know, it was so simple, so straightforward. And because you're predisposed not to believe, because as I said before, in this country, especially now, people have been so accustomed to being lied to that when you tell them the truth now, as I've been telling you all along, you have a little difficulty dealing with it.
Christopher lying Rowley. Email gate, you shameless liar. Delcy and PDVSA as Astrobal Chavez. I didn't know who it was as Astrobal Chavez. Fake oil, Petroleum, I'm a friend. I call him and say, but how things everything all right? But we closed down Petroleum. Because the board said so. Winfred Espine go on in the labor court and say, no, I never tell them to shut down Petrotrin. The 64 million in reports never said shut down Petrotrin. So who tell you shut down Petrotrin, boy, and put your lawyer in charge there?
People have been so accustomed to being lied to that when you tell them the truth, now, as I've been telling you all along, you have a little difficulty dealing with it. So this is an era where people are subscribing to a view that truth does not matter. It's what you can get people to believe that matters. This world is a place now in 2019 going forward where people are making a career of not speaking the truth, and every item of information has to be checked and double checked. But I want to talk to the mothers, the children, the neighbors, and all those who are attached to the Petrotrin business to make one clear statement to you first and foremost. The government is not closing down Petrotrin. I'm now discovering some person called Asdrubal Chavez, who I'm now discovering as part of the commission. He worked as part of a commission for PDVSA restructuring somewhere in his past. Nobody in that meeting was introduced to us as president of PDVSA. People have been so accustomed to being lied to that when you tell them the truth, now, as I've been telling you all along, you have a little difficulty dealing with it.
The man pathological. If I don't laugh, I go cuss like overseer, and all you go want to fire me from douglAR politics. Let me tell you something. And I'm glad we stopped there the PDVSA as Trubal Chavez, the Maduro indicted narco-terrorist, Delcy Rodriguez. I keep quiet. I watching all here just last month, Emery Brown with brown nosing all up in Rowley K-Parks. Oh, the USA, we are going to get the Prime Minister. He's negotiating with the USA. He's talking to the President. He's talking to other congresswomen, congresspeople. He's out there in America, and he's going to get vaccines for all of us. Yeah, man, this is the USA. He's talking to the white, and I go in, but who them fooling? Them don't understand that for 5 years, Rowley has upheld Maduro, has scorned the United States of America, turned their backs on the USA, their foreign policy, upheld Maduro, a narco-terrorist indicted by the USA, got caught with his pants down with fuel with Wilmer Ruperti, the patriotic deal with the refinery, USA attack US Ambassador Mondelo, USA Rio Treaty, going down the line, conga line with Maduro, and then he expect that Biden and Kamala Harris are going to give you all vaccines. Well, look, after all Rowley talk and boast, he talk to Yankee. Trinidad and Tobago will not benefit from 500 million US vaccine donation. Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, has confirmed that Trinidad and Tobago does not qualify for a share of the 500 million vaccines promised by the United States of America. Trinidad and Tobago is self-financing. Under the plan, 200 million doses of Pfizer biotech vaccine will be delivered in 2021 starting in August, with another 300 million Pfizer shipped in the first half of 2022, and none for Trinidad and Tobago, none for sweet T&T, none because we elected a Maduro idiot, a Delcy, PDVSA, Venezuela, gold box idiot. What y'all want me to say? And if y'all feel they're lying and just saying, well, because we paid into COVAX, we don't get. Let me read something for y'all. Taiwan. I throw it down? Oh Lord, where I throw it down? I feel that Taiwan is getting. Taiwan just received from the USA. I want to know what's going on. The US sends Taiwan 2.5 million doses. It has nothing to do with COVAX. It has nothing to do with Gavi. The USA said, Taiwan, you is my friend. We love you, so we take good care of you. take 2.5 million doses. Taipei, Taiwan. The US sent 2.5 million doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine to Taiwan on Sunday, tripling an earlier pledge. Tripling, we get 400 doses for 200 people coming to whom it may concern. Rowley talking to Biden. Emory Brown saying the Prime Minister is leading the charge in getting vaccines from the USA. The USA giving away 50 million vaccines. And we 500 million vaccine, and we ain't getting none because we want to dance conga line with Maduro. We is friend with Maduro. We is rhyming with a narco terrorist. We rhyming with Delcy and PDVSA. Taiwan got 2.5 million doses of Moderna, right? Chen said that America was showing its friendship as Taiwan faces the most severe outbreak. When I saw the vaccines coming down the plane, I was really touched, he said. I nearly cried. This is the health minister in Taiwan. We have a severe outbreak. The Yankee was here, yes, man. Yeah, Dr. Rowley, how are you going? Get my Rasta, line up my Rasta. Yes,
folks,
yes,
you already
Dr.
know.
Rowley, how are you, man? Yeah, man, you want vaccines? We're going to give out a lot of vaccines.
Big up
We
all
gotta
the
see
massives
about our
and them in
people
Trinidad
first.
and Tobago.
And then, yeah, man,
Folks, you already
ain't
know.
Right there, Dr. Rowley.
Every creed and
Play
race find an
Rasta.
equal place, and the only place you could find an equal place is with the People's National Movement. Big up the Honorable Dr. Keith Rowley for doing a great job with the COVID. And, you know, even though I'm here in New York City, I'm still really patriotic and I still care about my family back home. Folks, you know, if that Indian lady gets in power, the country is going to turn into India overnight. I mean, all the positions, jobs, and everything. It's been done before, so it ain't nothing new. So, folks, remember, yo, how it was when they were in power. When you go to vote in August, make sure you vote PNM. It's the only party for every creed and race. Okay? Love. Yes, I.
And I'm a Rasta man. Rasta man. Hey, how you doing, Rasta man? Did you get your Pfizer up there? Do you have a green card? I think you still got, because the USA, man, they take care of everybody, whether you legal, illegal, Rasta, dunce, dotish, don't care. You want to come back to Trinidad? We got a ticket for you. douglAR Politics is going to send a ticket for you, man, to come back to Trinidad and Tobago. Come on, man. Come and talk and rhyme with your Dr. Rowley, because he's doing such a great job on COVID. I mean, oh, man, only 765 people are dead. We only having 150, 200 cases per day. We going to get a super spreader. Nobody got no vaccine. We taking Chinese vaccine, man. So I'm going to buy you a ticket, my Rasta, and bring you back. Until then, I got to say on douglAR Politics, we got to go because we ain't got no vaccine from the USA. So good night.
Well. Stay tuned for part 2 of the oil scandal. Why was Minister of Energy Nicole Olivier fired? Did someone drop information in my mailbox? This Thursday at 6 p.m. sharp, stay tuned for another Facebook Live as we discuss facts, not fiction. I'm out.
This Minister of Health, right? I thought you wanted a real doctor.
Hospital system is buffet. I worked in that Mount Hope from 1981, but I have been in the public sector as a doctor from since 1975 to 2007. last 52 years, and I've worked in 18 hospitals around the world, and I've been trained at 4 universities around the world. I've seen over 120,000 patients in my life. And here in Trinidad, I have 31,000 private patients. So when I speak about healthcare, I know what I'm speaking about. It is not arrogance, but it is confidence, having worked around the world and experienced what medical care is at an international level. And this is why the Honorable Prime Minister had no questions the other day about my advice about taking the Sinopharm vaccine, because I speak with some degree of knowledge and some degree of competence. The Ministerial Advisory Team, the Prime Minister Advisory Team, the three of them whom I taught, I had the pleasure and privilege of teaching all three of them, Dr. Hines, Dr. Parasram, and Dr. Mariam Abdul, Dr. Mariam, they are all bright people, bright young doctors. But have they been searching for answers? Have they been searching to find out what is really going on? I think they are left in a crucible by themselves. And here it is, they're trying to advise the Prime Minister, but they themselves don't know the answers to it.
Changes of protocol, more lockdown, and we have demonstrated that there is no empirical evidence to say that by shifting curfew hours you're going to get less rates of infection, because people often during the course of the day they engage in economic activities and other activities that without wearing a mask or observing any protocol. So, but we will keep a close watch on the situation. Having said that, working aggressively to build a capability, we also, as I pointed out, had to have this nuanced approach. Unlike some countries that are totally shut down, look at Trinidad and Tobago, look at the numbers there. And that country has been almost in a perpetual state of lockdown for the past year. And it did not help really. They now have numbers 20-something dying in a single day, etc. So we have to keep people working to at least economic activities going, and at the same time try to urge our people, all of our people, every.
Anyone saw the level of crowds out there in preparation for Trinidad's weekend under house arrest? The Supermarket Association said they put steps in place to be ready for these crowds, which means that they were predictable. We knew these crowds were coming. So whoever made this decision knowingly created a situation to create crowds where we know coronavirus spreads, and then lock all these people in these crowds indoors for a weekend. Indoors where we know the majority of spread occurs, in their households where we now know 50% of people in a household with an infected person also gets infected. Seeing that the government is now mandating and decreeing what people do and where they go in order to stop the spread, and there hasn't been one outbreak linked to a beach since the beginning of this pandemic, it might have made more sense for us to have a decree this weekend that no one stays at home. We must all go to the beaches. It might have had less spread occurring because of it, and it certainly would have had less stress. Imagine spending weeks convincing people vaccinate to operate. The vaccines are here to stop the spread, and then stopping vaccination to lock people indoors.
The second major thing is that we want to be able to create a bubble for some level of travel from those countries that really and truly present no major risk to us. And we're doing this of our own initiative, but we anticipate that some people will probably reciprocate. we had a bubble before, but it was a bubble for all passengers. We're now saying that we are prepared to introduce a bubble for vaccinated passengers for those countries within the Caribbean that meet our criteria that is determined both, and the Ministry of Health's criteria reflects: one, whether the country is deemed low risk by the automized SHAPE country risk assessment tool, and whether it has been designated not to be at the community transmission phase according to the WHO. And against that background, it therefore means that immediately from the 30th of June, when we introduce this bubble, persons who are fully vaccinated can come to Barbados with a negative PCR test, and we will not have to test you at the airport because of the criteria that the Ministry of Health has used to determine that the risk is absolutely low. And let me give you an example. A country like Dominica has had little or no cases. A country like Anguilla and Montserrat, the same thing. Grenada has been able to control itself as well, fairly well, and the issue therefore, based on the criteria and the green and red that I have before me, we will be able to ensure that fully vaccinated persons with a negative PCR test coming from Grenada, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Anguilla, Montserrat, BVI, Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, and Bermuda can immediately enter without a further test on arrival.
From the American government, we are donating vials to countries worldwide. One of those countries is Trinidad and Tobago, with a population of 1.4 million. So how many doses are we giving to them right now? 80. We've decided to give enough doses at this time to fully cover 200 people. So how do we celebrate this spectacular occasion of vaccinating 0.0001% of the population? By making an official post on our embassy's Twitter account. The post includes 330 characters, which is 4 times more characters than vials they receive. And the best part of it all, Pfizer boxes contain 195 vials of vaccine, which means we either had to physically take out vials to give to them, or we made a press release on giving them our leftover vaccines that were going to expire.
The U.S. Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago is attracting a lot of attention online after announcing that it has donated 80 vials of COVID vaccines to the island nation with a 1.4 million population. In a tweet posted on Sunday, the U.S. Embassy announced the donation, saying that every vaccine counts. A single vial of the Pfizer vaccine yields 5 doses and is administered in 2 jabs 3 weeks apart. This means the U.S. donation of 80 vaccine vials will produce around 400 shots, which could vaccinate 200 people. The tweet has been widely shared on social media, with people expressing surprise at the size of the gift to the country's population of 1.4 million. Many mocked the gift by sharing memes about the donation. China too capitalized on the opportunity as Chinese media to mock the move. Sharing the US Embassy tweet, the official Xinhua news agency commented if this would be selected for the worst public relations award of the year. Other Chinese state media outlets, including the Global Times and China Daily, also took a dig at the embassy tweet. Dueling for global influence, Beijing and Washington have both sought to garner goodwill by pledging to supply vaccines to desperate nations amid a global shortage. In May, China donated 100,000 doses of Sinopharm's vaccine to Trinidad and Tobago. Trinidad and Tobago has been relying on foreign donations to fuel its immunization program. Trinidad and Tobago has reported more than 29,000 coronavirus cases and 686 COVID-19 related deaths. The U.S. Embassy in Trinidad and Tobago is attracting